Hello, everyone. We are live. It is Hump Day. It's Plant-Based Morning Show, 2 in a row of normal show schedule. Tomorrow will be a little different, but we will be doing a show. So anyway, I think it's good. We got a streak going, and that is good. Life's been inconsistent recently. There's been a lot of just stuff going on. Vacations, sicknesses, all kinds of things like that. Workouts missed, but I tried to get back to my workouts. Trying to get back to my workouts. I did one yesterday. A little sore though, because I lost some strength, lost some weight while I was sick. But getting back, that's what life's about. We determined yesterday. Getting back on the horse. Okay, adding Doug into Instagram here. Let's hope it works today. It does work today. There he is. How's it going,
Hey,
Doug?
Matt, how's it going?
Going well. How about you?
It's going pretty good. Happy Hump Day. I got to know, what was the Zelda count yesterday?
I'm afraid to look. You can look at your hours played, and I was telling the kids yesterday. I remember I did it with FIFA once, and I was devastated at how many hours I put into that, and I just can't do it. It'll ruin it for me. It's right now I'm having too much fun. I don't know what it is, but upwards of 3 hours for sure.
Okay, well, no shame in that. It's like watching a movie, you know?
Right, watching a long nerdy Lord of the Rings movie or something like that.
yeah, exactly. Are you interested at all in the Oppenheimer? We talked about this the other day, but I think it's 3 hours long.
Oh no, if it's 3 hours, then I'm not. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't. Like I said before, it just makes me feel too sad. It's frustrating. Like I don't want the genie to go back in the bottle, and you can't. And the whole movie's going to remind me of that, and I don't want that.
Okay. All right.
Are you interested in it? Everyone seems to be talking about it. I haven't seen one ad for it or anything. I've heard you say it. I've heard some of my friends talk about it.
Yeah, I am interested. I probably won't go to the theaters to see it. I'll probably wait till it comes out, but definitely interested in seeing it.
Is it
Same
like
with Barbie? Actually,
is it like just a bunch of people talking? Like what? Is there anything action?
I think it's pretty low action. I was listening to Rich Roll. They do their roll on. Where it's just him and oh man, I'm blanking on the other guy's name.
Yeah, I forgot.
They were talking about it, and they were talking about how they went to see it in IMAX, and it seemed like a movie that didn't need to be in IMAX. But Rich was actually defending the IMAX experience of it. But
oh yeah,
the other guy not so much. What is his name?
I can't remember his name either. Yeah, it sounds like a Breakfast Club. Like seeing that in IMAX would be an odd. It's just people sitting around talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of seeing things in IMAX, not really IMAX, but seeing great things. Have you been following Inter Miami and Messi at all?
Yeah, I've been watching that Leagues Cup, that MLS tournament with some of the Mexican teams in there.
It's unbelievable how they were like a terrible team, and now they're a great team. They're undefeated since he's come on.
Yeah, they've added so many more than just him though. They've added like 4 people or 3 people right now total.
Okay.
But from Barcelona, the same Barcelona team that Messi was on, and they're all older, but they're just very skilled. Yeah, so it's cool to watch. I think it's great for American soccer. I don't think it's a bad thing that they just like put together this NBA super team type thing, and now they're running rampant over the league. I don't know. I mean, I guess I want to say, well, they're not going to be that good. Like it's gonna right now it looks really good, but maybe they're gonna get people will figure them out. But I don't know. We'll see. It's fun to watch it though.
It is. It's cool.
Charlotte FC got to play them in the Leagues Cup, lost 4-0. But they did well against Messi. They really
did you go?
Shut him down. No, it was down in Miami, and it was
okay.
Cup game. But I think they play them again maybe this weekend. Just in a regular league game, so that'll be good. But they look pretty good against Messi.
But
yeah, I mean, look, you're watching it, you're talking about, or at least you're aware of it. So
yeah, right, exactly.
For American soccer,
it has to be. Yeah. Anne Marie says Adam Skolnick. That's
right.
That's the name. And if there was a Rich Roll Adam Skolnick quiz, like the Doug and Matt quiz, I think I'd be more Adam than Rich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never listened to a roll on. Maybe I have a little bit.
Oh, they're my favorite. I don't know. Yeah? It's a lot of banter, like what we do, and I don't know. It makes me happy.
Oh, good. Yeah, I like that kind of vibe. All right. Well, a lot of people are here today saying good morning. Mr. Jeffrey, Carmen Petty, Jeff Hudnall, Kelly K, Dale Stevens, Allie, Anne Marie. Everyone just said good morning. No one said anything. Well, Dale said hello. Mr. Jeffrey said, "What happened to the 90-minute comedy?" Agreed. That's the movie genre that I like. The only one that I really will watch with any regularity is 90 minutes, good length of time. Comedy, good genre, doesn't add any stress to my life. So that's agreed, Mr. Jeffrey. We're alike on that one. That should be one of the questions. What's your movie like, though? What's your preferred movie type?
I'm a drama guy.
You like Free Solo? Kind of stuff.
Well, that's a documentary, but I liked Free Solo a whole lot. But no, I mean like an intense drama that kind of pulls you in and works through some sort of mystery or story or something. That even if it takes 3 hours, I'm much more into that than like a cheesy 90-minute comedy.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. You feel better after having watched it, usually, like you did something instead of just guilty pleasure.
Yeah, like you learned something.
Yeah,
even if it's fake.
Yes. All right. Enough about movies, I think. Jessica Goodenough says, I missed the bit where Matt comments on what day of the week it is. I don't think I did. I think I just said hump day is all I said today. I didn't know, never really on deep analysis of the day of the week. Just called it out.
Now that we're not doing them daily, it's not as important.
Right. All right. So we have business to take care of tomorrow. Showtime is going to be 10 a.m. Eastern time. So that'll be a little early for you West Coasters.
An hour
others,
in fact.
An hour earlier. 1 hour earlier. That will allow me to get going on my golf trip or on my drive up to the golf trip, which will probably be 6 or 7 hours. Last year, I stopped. I was thinking about this stuff. I last year stopped at some gas station or something, and it was kind of funny just to do a show. I don't know if we planned the show, planned content, or what. How I would have done that while I was driving, I don't know. But I went there. I remember us talking about Kevin Hart. I remember us announcing the Hart House was like coming, and we said, "What do we think about this?" And I think we kind of liked it, but we said it felt money grabbish. We said him putting his name on it, Hart House.
I think you said that more than I said.
I probably
did.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I said it just and he had just done an NFT, the Kevin Hart NFT collection or something, I was more into that those days. So I was just like, this just seems like celebrity kind of like do all the projects right now, put your name on everything, get extra famous, extra money. And which is fine, but I just thought, I don't know how significant this is going to be for the plant-based movement. Well, unrelated to that, but related to him, when I was sick, I was watching a lot of streaming channels and things. I was on Peacock, and I was just looking through things to watch. And I started looking, somehow one of his movies came across, or one of his shows, and it was called Heart to Heart, HART to Heart. And I was like, oh, man, he put his name on another thing. Like he's doing a show here, and now he's using his Heart name again. In there. And then I kept going. And then I saw Straight from the Heart, another Kevin Hart movie, or a show of him talking to 3 other guys. And then I saw Die Hard, another one. Some kind of spoof on Die Hard. So the guy just puts his name on anything he possibly can. He just puts it into the title. And I guess that's his bit. That's how he builds his legacy, I guess. I don't know. I thought it was goofy. It reminded me of that Hart or whatever it's called, Hart House restaurant.
That's great. I think it's hilarious. I think it's great.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of them. I think he's funny, but I'm not gonna watch any of those movies. I don't know.
It'd be better if his name was like Smith or like McDonald, or not McDonald. Because there's a McDonald's, but like some like random McConnell, and so it's like that didn't make any sense because at least it's Hart and it kind of makes sense, right?
Right. I mean, if it was McConnell, he probably would
play on words.
But he realized he's got this built-in asset in his name.
Yeah, just take full advantage of it.
You might as well put it on everything. Yeah. So
anyway, the Frazier House doesn't make as much sense, or Hart to Frazier doesn't make as much sense. So
he is everywhere, though. I will say that when that came up a year ago, and I saw him, I remember saying, "Well, is he like a stand-up comic or something?" I didn't realize he was as famous as he was. But since then, now that I'm kind of aware of him, he's in 100 things. I mean, he hosts things, he has movies. He's a superstar. So now I think that restaurant has real potential in this plant-based world. And it's fast food, which we said one of the last bastions of hope for plant-based meats and fake things like that is the fast food world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta wonder how much celebrity backing of a restaurant, something that's completely unrelated to them, matters.
Right.
But I mean, it has to help. It has to help at least with publicity and getting the word out, and then also funding, right? Like it'd be harder for me to start a fast food restaurant than somebody who has a lot of money.
Yes, I think it would. But we could announce it on the Plant-Based Morning Show. You'd have like
we
15
could. I mean, we
people.
got that PR, right? Yeah.
If they were ever in that part of the country, they'd come to your restaurant.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Jeffrey says, "Is that where you left your clubs at the station?" Yes, this is the same tournament. I didn't leave them at that gas station. I left them the previous year at a driving range that I went to on the way up. So that was no good. Jessica Goodenough says Matt is jealous because Frazier doesn't work with anything, but Jessica Goodenough, the Good Enough Vegan, that would be a perfect brand. Good Enough is a great last name, unique.
It's great
last name.
Yeah.
And Dale Stevens says he's a very smart businessman. He is working it. I think she's talking about Kevin Hart, not me.
No, probably not.
All right. So we got some little bit of stuff today. We got a quick weather report and then some articles. So let's just jump in unless you got anything else, Doug.
No. I'm good.
Okay, here we go. All right, bad news for the ladies listening. The gender gap between men and women dying from alcohol is getting smaller. This is from Morning Brew, but it's about Journal of the American Medical Association article that was posted, or a research that was posted last month, said that the rate of alcohol-related deaths among U.S. women is growing faster than among men, and that is alarming to the public health experts. The data they're citing here is from 2018 to 2020, when alcohol-related mortality rates for women jumped 15%, while men's rose just under 13%. I guess the rise, Doug, would be because we're including 2020 in there, and we've got COVID then, when people started drinking a lot more. And, if they died within a year of begin heavily drinking, it probably was from car death or something like that.
I feel like any study should just throw out any data from 2020.
Right. Yeah, it could just be a blip that, like, I mean, it seems to, maybe the study did much more than this, but it seems to me that maybe just meant that women happen to drink more than men or increase their drinking more than men did during COVID for whatever reason. And that would cause this, or just, noise. I don't, just randomness. I don't know. But men are still 3 times more likely to die from alcohol-related deaths. They said, what's making women drink more? And they are blaming the marketing campaigns like quippy Wine O'Clock Etsy shirts. That
Wine O'Clock, baby.
They can play a big role in pushing women who want to appear successful to top off their glasses. The way tobacco companies launched into women's liberation to advertise cigarettes in the 60s. I'm reading word for word here. I think I have seen more of that stuff recently. I don't know why, but those little jokes about cooking with wine. Sometimes I even put in the food and all this stuff. I do see them a lot, and I think it's interesting that we just encourage drinking. People wear a shirt around advertising, drinking. If you did that with cigarettes, you'd be shunned. So it's kind of funny.
It is. That's a good point. Yeah, maybe I should start doing cigarettes and see what happens.
Yeah. The professor of epidemiology at Columbia University, Catherine Keyes, said middle-aged, high-income, and educated women binge drink the most. So that's also kind of surprising. Finally, they say, this is kind of stupid. They say doctors believe that women's higher body fat percentage, hormonal fluctuations, and other traits make their organs more susceptible to alcohol's health risks. I guess they're trying to make some sort of explanation there. But like, if that were the explanation, women wouldn't be dying 1/3 the rate that men do from alcohol, right? It's just like,
right.
We need to explain a little increase here, a change, not something about women that makes them more susceptible to alcohol. So it doesn't make sense. But anyway, just public service, be aware. It's I think it's fun to wear those shirts and pretend that drinking doesn't hurt anybody, but you got to be careful.
Do you think it's the change in drinks? Now there's all these like pre-mixed cocktails and no way rosé cans and all this stuff like
same thing with the ultra processed food, right? Where like whatever's going to get consumed the most is going to be the thing that survives and grows. So if they make it easier to drink rosé by putting it in cans, then maybe. You see a lot more liquor drinks now in cans and
a ton of them.
Yeah, it used to be beer and wine. I don't know if it makes a difference. I'm sure the total ABV is kind of the same. Who knows? But I wonder if people just drinking more, like aside from COVID, like is just
I thought
the
people
world
were
being
drinking less.
worse?
Wasn't that like a couple months ago we were
Well, we
talking
said,
about how
yeah, we observed that people are a lot more
at
people
least
don't
younger
drink.
people, right?
A lot more people
Mhm.
just don't drink. Yeah. I don't know. All right, up
Have you
next.
seen the gallon jug? I mean, we may have talked about this. Have we talked about the gallon jug thing that college kids are doing? I forget what it's called.
No. What is that?
Let me look it up.
I know those big guys who bring jugs of water to the gym and lug it around the gym
It's
with
called
them.
Borgs. Blackout Rage gallons.
What is that? What does that mean?
It's you take like a jug of water, an old and
Right.
then I assume you probably empty the water, but then you add in liquor, you add in like some sort of powdered flavor, and some sort of mixer, and then everyone just carries around their own Borg, instead of doing like the bathtub, mixer drink
Right.
things that we did in college.
Uh-huh.
Um, now everybody just brings their own Borg to a party, and it's supposed to be like some people like it. I guess it was birthed in COVID, right? So you weren't sharing a bunch of like the
Uh-huh.
same stuff. So everybody had
Right.
their own drinks, but
Okay.
also it's supposed to be a little bit safer in like risk of someone drugging it or something like that because you just like have your own thing.
Right.
But also people just make really stiff drinks and they carry around this big jug all night and they also get blackout drunk. So
Wow.
so I think there's some pros and some cons to the Borg experience. But if you I mean, I haven't been to a fraternity or sorority party in a long time, but every time when I kept seeing articles and stuff about this on social media, and it was like people, I mean, hundreds of people just carrying around their own water jugs full of booze. So
Wow.
very interesting.
No, that is an odd trend. No, I did not know that it happened. I don't think you said we. I don't think I ever drank anything out of a bathtub, and I wouldn't. I'm pretty sure that was even back in college. I had that standard.
No,
Just
you never
I'm
had
not
like
doing that.
jungle juice out of a bathtub or anything?
Definitely not. I mean, I had jungle juice out of
A cooler.
bowl, like a punch bowl or something.
Punch bowl? You don't make jungle juice in a punch bowl. The point is you have to have like this huge container.
Well,
like
I never had
like
that.
either one of those like Home Depot style storage containers,
Yep.
or a bathtub. That's those are your two options.
Bathtub is disgusting. That is so gross.
I mean, there was enough Everclear in there that like nothing was gonna live in there.
But somebody
maybe some hairs.
Somebody was sitting in a pool of their own filth in that tub for a long time, many times probably over the years. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next. So Halle Bailey has recently come onto my radar because of her role in Little Mermaid, the musical or the live action, and that was covered in The Week Junior, which is my main news source. So I became aware of Halle Bailey. I guess she also has a sister, Chloe Bailey, and the two of them are like Chloe X Halle or Chloe times Halle or something. Is their singing group? Do you know that, Doug?
No.
Your girl's into Chloe times Halle?
No.
Okay. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure. What do you say when there's an X in between something? Times or by?
I don't know. I mean, we did that with Plant U.
Yeah. And how do you pronounce it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I sound like a very, very
and maybe
person.
Chloe and Halle.
It's an X though.
Well, I don't know.
I'm sure it's not Chloe times Halle or Chloe X Halle. I mean, I don't know, but I probably sound very out of touch here. But anyway, they were attending Beyonce's Renaissance World Tour in Atlanta. I think just attending. And Chloe broke her vegan diet accidentally, says the news. Says I think Parade first reported this, or that's where I saw it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. She broke the diet. Which I mean, I'm not even. It's just a new concept to me that you can break your vegan diet. I mean, you either stop being vegan or what, but I guess you can break it if you accidentally eat something that's not. Anyway, they called room service to get Beyond Burgers. Apparently, they haven't heard that Beyond is out. But they're still on Beyond Burgers. They got it. They asked for a vegan patty. They said no butter on the bun, and they got it. And Chloe said she's eating the burger, and she's like, "Are you sure this is Beyond?" This is all from her Instagram. And she said, of course, it's Beyond. Took a bite. The juice was dripping, and it did not seem like a Beyond Burger, so she just knew it was not a fake burger. Called the front desk. Front desk said, yeah, we got you those brand burgers like you wanted. And they said, I don't even know what a brand burger is. So they got regular burgers. Hallie's laughing at me because I'm crying, she says, and she'd been vegan for 10 years. It was her first bite of red meat, and for her sake, hopefully her last. So her vegan diet has been broken, and that's news.
I mean, does your vegan count now restart?
I don't know. I don't know what all kinds of atrocities happen now that she broke that vegan diet. Certainly you don't just restart and get back on it and call yourself vegan again. And after that,
I mean, of course not. She can't be vegan now.
No, right?
No. Of course, we're totally kidding. This happens to anyone and everyone. It can happen, and it means it has no impact on your or whether you're vegan.
It's nothing. What
it's
even,
nothing, right?
Like even if you deliberately said, "I'm going to eat this hamburger this one time because I really want it," and then I'm just going to go and I'm going to be vegan after that. I guess. Maybe vegans would say, well, you're not really vegan if you just whenever you want eat a burger.
Right.
But like
that feels a little different than
the idea that there's something to break, it just I don't know. It just I think it just shows this media completely misunderstanding
right.
what this is about.
So, you know what stands out the most to me in this?
What?
Is that it's a pretty big knock on Beyond Burgers, right? If someone who hasn't had meat in 10 years takes one bite and can tell that their burger is not real, like that's not good, right?
You're right. That's a good point. Yeah,
something that's when I had a Beyond Burger to imitate a meat burger,
right? Yeah, when I first had a Beyond Burger for the first time, I thought, wow, this seems a whole lot like meat. But this is convincing me that if I had a regular one, I would know for sure that was not the same.
Yeah, right. I mean, I remember very clearly my first Beyond Burger and not being convinced that it wasn't meat, like having to compare it to the meat burger, like looking at looks and stuff and asking people.
Right. It also says something about those of us who are vegan and we say, oh, this tastes just like the real thing did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what do we know?
We're probably wrong. Right.
Yeah. Although maybe she knows if she can take a bite and be like, hey, wait a minute. This is a brand burger, not a Beyond Burger.
All right, and last bit. This is good news for the Beyond Meat fans in the world.
Okay.
From Veg News, they said an increasing number of companies are now actively recruiting for positions in the thriving plant-based industry, according to new data from Global Data. This is Q2 data, April to July 2023. I guess that's more than Q2, isn't it? April, May, June, July. It's an extra month. They said 32% increase in active job listings linked to the plant-based diet with a total of 596 positions advertised. So if it's 32% increase, that means it's like a 60, it would be 10%. So 180. So it was like 420 and now it's almost 600 in a 3-month or 4-month period that it went up. So they mentioned the entire health and wellness space, I think, was up 4%, which puts this in context. Maybe this is a legit stat and not just a little bump, some change in the site's policies of what means active and what doesn't. I thought all those things could be the real reason, but no, they apparently. Well, I mean, it looks like the plant-based sector is growing, hiring.
Do you think our job postings count towards this? They would, right?
Did we have a posting? We did have a posting during that time, didn't we? At least one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you think we're in the global job analytics database?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but maybe we got one of them. Yeah, I mean, we're growing. So, yeah, I mean, plant-based diet growing. A good example is us, right? If we were growing, that's a totally different sector than plant-based meats growing.
That's true.
So this doesn't mean that Beyond Meat is saved or anything like that. But, it's good. Good that the plant-based movement as a whole maybe isn't contracting as much as we thought it might be. All right, there we go. That's your weather report. We got a couple things today. Let's look at this corn thing. Can you pull this one up, Doug, on the video?
You bet I can. Anything to do with corn chips, I'm here for.
Yeah. Okay, and you sent me this one last week, and it's about ultra-processed food. It is from Washington Post. It's an Instagram thing. And it is the difference between processed canned corn and ultra-processed snack chips. So, Doug, your favorite snack here is in the hot seat, and we're seeing how it's made right in front of us there in real time. Is it pulled up?
Yeah, let me. It is pulled up. It was halfway through. Let me see if I can get it to reset. Okay, so the difference between processed canned corn and ultra-processed snack chips. So you start with the kernel of corn,
Yep. And
right?
it goes down a chute. It goes down a big.
Goes down a chute. So first up, ultra processed will then go to the corn is cooked and soaked to absorb water
Nothing wrong with
in a
that.
little
That's
vat.
processing. That's not ultra processing. I'm
Next,
okay
the
with that.
corn is pulverized into a dough. Then it's fed into
I'm
an
okay with that.
extrusion machine and turned into sheets. The dough is flattened and cut into corn chips. All this makes sense,
No,
right?
I'm good with all this. This is processing. This is not ultra
So then
processing.
the other one, can you pause it? How do you pause
No,
it?
I don't
Oh yeah,
think
there
you
we
can
go.
pause it.
Okay.
Can you?
The corn kernels are mixed with water. This is going back to the canned corn. But the corn chip, the chips are baked in an oven and then deep fried. So that's 2 more levels of cooking. But I
Yep.
mean, you're gonna probably cook the canned corn too, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Maybe.
Well, we can
Maybe
just
not.
look over on the left there. We can see if the canned corn is cooked.
Yeah. And then finally, the chips are coated with cheese, salt, monosodium, glutamate, sugar, and artificial color.
Mm.
See,
This
I mean,
is
everything up
ultra
until
processing.
then is fine by me.
Yeah, right. I think so too. Because
Meanwhile,
all this stuff is going to make you eat more of it for sure. But like we've been doing that stuff for thousands of years, right?
mhm.
With this processing, basically digesting outside the body, that has been happening for a long time, and we've adapted, we've evolved to incorporate some of that. Our bodies are cool with some of that. Anyway, what'd you say, Doug? Meanwhile, what?
I was gonna
Meanwhile,
say, meanwhile, that one can of corn is just sitting in the water and just going right into the can. That one kernel.
that's all they do is soak corn. Yeah, I guess so. That's right. Because you can. Because I was thinking like that Indian corn. That's hard. You got to do something to that. But
But it's
regular
just
fresh
okay.
corn, you can just eat that right off the cob.
Yeah.
As long as you put some salt in there or something good.
But I mean, so this is talking about how. Like, let's look at the recap here. The impact, the food matrix.
Mhm.
So this is what happens. This is where it kind of gets a little uneasy, I guess, right? You have your intact food matrix, which is the regular the kernel of corn, and then your broken food matrix, which I guess is ultra processing degrades the internal structure of the food or food matrix. The complex internal structure not only holds the corn together, but it influences the
Mhm.
bioavailability of the nutrients, blah blah blah. So basically, like you were saying, you're kind of digesting it, pre-digesting it in a way,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah, and that's not ideal, right? If you're trying to lose weight or something, you would want to eat those whole corn kernels, not the ground up corn flour, even because it just becomes more quickly available for your body. And if you were starving, that'd be a good thing. But if you're not, you want your body to have to do some work to get it. So yeah, I mean, I think this is I don't know, this is an instructive story. And then the end stuff, the cheese, the salt, monosodium glutamate, which I think is a preservative, I'm not sure. Um, Sugar, artificial color. So that stuff is all the things that are really bad for us. At least according to this ultra processed people book, which I read and really liked. Actually, I
Mhm.
read about 75%. I haven't finished it. But in that, he goes through a lot of data, and he cites some crazy stuff, including that thing about the no studies ever linked exercise to weight loss. But builds a pretty solid case that things like adding sugar, like if you are cooking your own food, you add sugar or add even butter to your food that you're cooking. He says that these are normal ingredients that have been in domestic kitchens for hundreds or thousands of years, and they are not the thing that is responsible for the awful condition of people's health now. Um, he says it's all that stuff is processing, and there's this famous Nova classification system that has these 4 groups. And there's here I pulled it up: unprocessed foods or minimally processed. Then there's processed culinary ingredients. Then there's processed foods. This is these bottled vegetables, canned fish and syrups, cheeses, freshly made breads. These are processed, but they're not ultra processed. And finally, ultra processed is group 4, and that's where you've got all this extra stuff added into the food. And especially the stuff done so with profit motive is usually, or almost always, I think it's even part of the definition. Uh, and he says that is the problem. And he makes a lot of strong arguments that everything else is fine. The ultra processing is the problem. So I think
So
that is a good point.
So the processing of the corn, right? So before you add all the stuff in,
Mm-hmm.
the turning it into a meal, then rolling it into sheets, and then baking it and frying it, like that doesn't seem that bad to me, right? Like,
No, I don't think it is. I think the fact that it happens on such a large scale and it's so easy now to get so much of that, right, is very
mhm.
different than if you were doing that stuff in your kitchen and it just took a lot of work to process corn down to that point. It would just you'd consume much less of it, right? You
Oh,
wouldn't
I
make
see what you're saying.
if you were making your own corn chips, you probably wouldn't eat as many as you do.
Mhm.
But yeah, but by itself, it's not
That's
a
true.
horrible
I'd
problem.
be in the kitchen all the time, man. I'd be like, if I had to make my own corn chips, God, I wouldn't have a life. Um, no, but yeah, so I mean that makes sense. That part makes sense to me. That you'd be doing it less. You'd be eating less of it. So if more of your diet is consumed by this processed food than before, like that makes sense. But that like sort of processing, I don't want to call it minimally processing because it's not minimal, but it's and I think that didn't give me too much pause.
No, and it
Um,
probably shouldn't. I think it's the other stuff. At least I'm
so if I'm
convinced.
just like taking, if I'm just getting corn chips, just plain old corn chips with a little bit of salt on them.
Yeah, if you can find some that are salt and oil and nothing else in there,
Hmm.
I think you're mostly staying away from ultra processed food. I think you are staying away from ultra processed food if you do that. It doesn't fix your food matrix. Your food matrix is still broken because that
Yeah,
happens in all that other stuff. But I don't, food matrix. It's not the problem. The problem is people putting stuff in here, so we just can't stop eating these, and our
yeah.
fullness system is overridden, and we don't even know that we're full. All that.
Hmm.
I like Prewick 62's comment here, number 4 under it. Most corn is GMO, so it's a no for me. So she brings it back to herself and completely changes the topic, and it's a no because it's GMO.
Just
And this is, of course, we're not talking generally about snacks and ultra processing. The title of the graph is not. Where is it? Find me the title, Doug.
of the whole thing.
Yeah, the graph or of the picture.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. The difference between processed canned corn and ultra processed snack chips.
Okay, so it is that. Yeah, my mistake. I was thinking that it was sort of generally speaking about that the lesson was how food is generally ultra processed, not really that specific to corn here. And that Prewick had turned it into a corn topic, but that's subject to
So,
debate.
well, but my response to her are that I get the organic corn chips, which are non-GMO,
Right?
and my response to you and Mr. Jeffrey agrees with me here. There's lots of brands that just add salt, and he says citric acid, which is probably true so too, but not adding all the other stuff, and
All
that's
right.
what I love munching on, man.
AE Curtis 12 on Instagram as well says smoothies are also processed and pre-digested food.
Yeah,
This is fear mongering. This is classist. This is not helping anyone. Do better. So she's rich. I was like, okay, good point. Smoothies are also processed and pre-digested. Maybe we shouldn't have so many smoothies. But she's basically assuming that smoothies are inherently, by definition,
good.
a good food. We all know that.
Mhm.
Self-evident. So if smoothies are also, then therefore processed and pre-digested is fine. Interesting way of making a point. I don't totally disagree. I think the processing and pre-digesting is probably, like I said, the most okay part of all this. But no, people are going to be people.
People are people, and the post is the post,
David Foxworthy says, "I like the Doritos."
Good mic drop comment there.
All right, good. So there's a little.
That was Washington. I don't know if you said that was Washington Post on Instagram. You can find it. It was from maybe a week ago, but I'm sure if you scrolled the feed, you'd find it. Nice little video graphic.
Ultra processed food is like a mega trend right now. I mean, it's just everywhere, and you have to imagine that 95% of people, if you said that to them, they don't know what that means. They don't know what you're talking about. So in our world, it's a mega trend. I think it's coming. The wave is coming, and soon you're going to hear this word everywhere.
Well, I mean that might go back to our conversation yesterday of how do we get the humble vegan diet, the simple vegan diet to be more sexy, and maybe it's just this like global revolt against ultra processing.
Yeah, right. No, I think it might be, and it hopefully will change a lot of diets that way, right? The keto, the paleo, like they could all be improved from their UPF versions to the thing that's actually what they're supposed to be. I don't know too much about keto, but paleo for sure. There's a lot of stuff in there that certainly doesn't belong. And yeah, I think the global revolt might be coming when we take back our food, we stop the machines that are breaking the matrices, and adding things.
As long as I
Anyway.
can still go to Slutty Vegan every once in a while and grab a burger with a whole bunch of melted fake cheese on top and some vegan bacon, like, as long as I can still do that, I'm okay.
The trick is as long as you can avoid that. As long as like that's not in all the food, then we're good.
Yeah.
As long as it's just not everywhere. But right now it is. Anyway, this is why I chose for our next article from Eating Well, the 7 healthiest beans to eat according to dietitians. In the spirit of humility here, I said this is a boring topic. It's humble topic. But you know, it's relevant now. We're supposed to eat more of this stuff, so we've got to cover it. All right, they ranked the beans from best to worst according to dietitians, but then they didn't really. They said they did, and then they basically just talked about 7 different types of beans, and said why they're good. But I think loosely they ranked them, and lentils is number 1, which is your humble food. Lentils always comes up on the top of these. They have very high protein count, and I think because they're smaller, they're a little bit more seed-like than beans. You get more of the out, you know, I don't know, not so much the inside. You get all the outside bit, and I think that's just a lot more surface area. Probably that's where the nutrition is, my guess. Anyway, so they're number 1. I'm not going to get into why on all these things. It's just they just find a nutrient that they're high in. White beans number 2, which is shocking to me. I wouldn't have thought white beans would be really high on the bean list. I would have probably thought soybeans would be number 2. I think Eating Well stayed away from soybeans because they're soy, and they're afraid to write soybeans, would be my guess. But I don't know. It is. White beans, though, they mentioned, you know, all the stuff that's in them. They say they're good for blending into sauces as a thickener. Added to sandwiches like avocado toast with white beans. I've had that before, and it's good. They're just a very mild bean. So I really like them for that reason.
I never get white beans. It just never happens unless a specific recipe calls for it in a sauce or something like that, which is maybe I've done 10 times in my life. I just never think to get them.
Cannellini beans, we always get. Butter beans, we often get. They're just sort of very inoffensive, which is why I like them. I think we put them in a tomato sauce. Like you can eat beans in tomato sauce, and that can be your dinner, and you don't even need pasta.
Yeah.
So we do that. We do that quite a bit. I'm sure it would work with other beans. It just doesn't seem as good. Anyway, they mentioned all these uses for it. You have white bean chili, don't you, dog? I thought that was one of your things you do.
Does our green chili have white beans?
White bean, green chili?
It is. It's green and white bean chili. You're right. I stand corrected. We have white beans all the time. Or we did this last winter. You're totally right.
All right.
I stand corrected.
Good.
We had that like once a week for half the year.
Good. I like white beans for making white bean dip and using that on, or white bean spread and putting that on bagels or something. Because hummus with its garlickiness and its tahini-ness is a little much in the morning. But white bean spread, delicious on bagels. All right, number 3, black beans. Black beans are actually one of my least favorite types of beans. I think I think they're one of your most. But for me, I don't know what it is about them. They're just, I don't like that they're so small. I don't know. They're just not my favorite.
They're no smaller than white beans, are
they? Yeah. I mean, cannellini beans are like the size of kidney beans. They're called white kidney beans.
Yeah, okay.
Now, navy beans, they would be the same size as black beans, I think. All right, so that's that one.
I love it.
Okay, good. Number 4 is chickpeas, which Longo, I'm fond of saying, calls his number 1 seed bean. He says if you were desert island, one food ever, that's what he picked. Not just number 1 seed bean, number 1 seed food.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's your best longevity choice. But anyway, they said they like the versatility of chickpeas and mentioned lots of good things they have in them. Pinto beans, number 5. I like pinto beans, all right. What I prefer is their cousin, cranberry beans, also called borlotti beans in Italy. Red kidney beans, I do not really care for. I'll eat them, but I don't really care for them that much. And finally, lupini beans. You get on the lupini bean snack trend, Doug?
No.
You need to get in that trend.
That's the Italian bean, right?
They are Italian, at least the name is. Yeah, I don't know if they really are.
They come in a glass jar.
They can. That's the main place. If you find them in Ingles that way, if you're ever shopping in Ingles.
Okay, so you meant this was like early show. You were talking about these and told me to get them, and I got them, and they've been sitting in my cupboard ever since then. So I'm gonna I'll bring them out tonight.
Snack.
So you
bring
just
them out tonight.
Them?
You
You have to
can
do in detail?
you can squeeze them in your fingers to shell them because they have a little shell
Ah,
casing on them,
okay.
and that's kind of the most like the best way to eat them as far as tastiness. But you can just eat the whole shell, and that's the easiest way to eat as many as possible. So you do as you like, but try squeezing them out of there and see how they're sort of cheese like. They're just
Hmm.
like have an interesting richness to them. Also, very high protein bean in their FAQs. They ask what's the highest protein bean. They say lupini beans contain 13 grams of protein per half cup serving. Lentils and Great Northern beans 9 to 10. Again, they're just omit soybeans. I'm looking that up. Soybean protein. It's like they're pretending soybeans don't exist. Uh, soybeans in a half a cup, according to Google, 34 grams of protein. It's like triple their best one. I don't think that's accurate, but it's high. It's the highest, and I don't know why eating well is just acting like soybean is terrible.
They're not. It's not even mentioned anywhere in there.
No, it's like what happened to
Come
that food?
on.
Right, exactly. What I mean, how weird is the world if you can't mention soybeans? Just because, just silly. Anyway, nothing else really to say about beans. They do give some tips for including them. Aim for a meatless meal a week. Add them to stuff. Obviously, smash or blend with olive oil and a pinch of salt. You could do that, and you don't have to smash. You could, but that's the spread I was talking about. That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Toss them into salads or side dishes, Doug. I know you like a nice bean salad.
I do.
Roast beans to eat as a crunchy snack. I don't do this all that often, but it is kind of good when you do it. You can get pre-made snack packs of beans, like lupini beans. They have that. Increase the bioavailability of them. Pair them with foods rich in vitamin C. Not a bad tip. They do mention the anti-nutrient thing that some influencers don't like them because of their anti-nutrients. They've been demonized by people who follow certain dietary patterns due to their phytic acid content and lectin content. That's a popular bit these days. Pick a food that everyone knows is healthy, like salad or spinach or beans, and then say, this is awful, terrible food. Don't eat this. And then that's your TikTok or your Instagram.
You get a lot of clicks.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get angry people and you get engagement. And you get people who say, amen, brother, you got it all the way. I wouldn't touch that stuff. But anyway, you can soak, cook, or ferment the beans, and most of that stuff will disappear. You can also not do that and see what happens to your health and see if it gets better or worse. And you'll probably find it gets better. And that is better. So there you go. There's your bean discussion. I think we had that same discussion several times during the course of the show.
Well, it's good to have it again. We got lots of comments here. Okay. Where do I start? White beans, good in smoothies, says Anne Marie.
Is any bean good in smoothie? Maybe they're the least bad in smoothie.
Maybe the least bad. All right. There was a question about white bean. What's the difference between white, navy, and cannellini?
Well, I think white is the broad category, and if it is white in color, then it's white. So navy and cannellini are both those. Cannellini, as I know them, are basically white kidney beans, shape, size the same. Navy beans are small; they're like black beans, but they're white. I don't like those as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know much. I mean, if they have all different nutritions or what. Mr. Jeffrey says, sitting in your cupboard right beside the smoked paprika. That's where your white bean stash is.
My lupini beans.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong. It is right next to it.
Well, put them together. That'd be a good meal. Saute the paprika in oil, add some salt, and put those beans in there. It'd be delicious.
Just saute them up. So don't eat them raw, like you were saying. Not raw, but
no, not the lupini beans, but no, the white beans. Put the white beans in the paprika.
White beans,
and salt and oil.
Mm-hmm.
The lupini just eat it there. Aaron actually got dried lupini beans the other day, so we're gonna make those and see what happens then.
Okay.
Kate says, even saying tofu makes you grow breasts, don't you know? Yep, that's true. You gotta watch out for that. Dale says, have I tried the light kidney beans? Mild in taste and delish. No, I don't think so. Sounds like it would be kind of like a pinto bean, but no, I have not.
Jeffrey says there's also a Great Northern bean. I like Great Northern beans, which are white with brown spots.
I didn't realize they had spots on them. I've had those now and then. I don't really usually get them. They look a lot like cannellini.
I tend to call them polka dots, but if you want to call them spots, that's fine too.
All right, good. All right, well, there's your bean article. So yeah, eat more beans. That's the future of the vegan diet. Is lots of beans, lots of vegetables.
Future of all diets.
green a bean. Yeah, it might be the most sustainable protein.
Yeah,
that's real.
Peas. What about peas?
Yeah, peas or beans. I don't really like peas that much, but they are. Okay, good. That's it.
See you tomorrow at 10.
We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Don't forget, hour earlier than usual, and then I'll be on my way to my golf trip. So
Are you going to the range one more time?
I'm going to try to go today, and depending how that goes, I may try to stop on the way up tomorrow. In which case, I must not forget my clubs and leave them at the range. Lesson learned.
Have you purchased your was it winner gift or something?
My prize? No, I have to do that. No, the prize, the lower limit of the prize went up this year, so now I can't spend 25. I need to spend 35 on the prize. And Top Flight golf balls outlawed. No longer can you give a huge pack of Top Flight balls.
Can you give a huge pack of Nike balls? Or
well, you wouldn't be able to get a huge one. They'd be expensive. People would probably like that. If Top Flight are the garbage, people think.
Okay.
So it's just too bad of a prize. You can't bring it. People.
What about a giant batch of lupini beans?
Once I wrote Compliment Protein Powder and some plant-based athlete books, and I think it was okay. People like something that's a little different, but
yeah, but they don't like that you didn't have to pay for it.
No, they don't.
Dale Stevens asked where you're golfing. Where are you headed?
Pennsylvania, Carroll Valley. It's a Liberty ski mountain, but they have golf there in the summer.
Is that where you always go? Or
yeah, it's always there. And a couple other courses around there, but we stay there. So if you're in the neighborhood, stop by.
Just hang out at the clubhouse.
Yeah. All right. Good. Fun show. We'll be back tomorrow. Everyone, enjoy your hump day. We're halfway there. End of the week is almost here.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk later.